this game gets more love and maybe a proper sequel, unlike what happened with Team Sonic Racing, which, in my opinion, butchered the game. If you want me to buy 100% and review the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, which I've also played in the past, please get this video to 15 likes. So, yeah, I apologize for all of that. We didn't reach the 15 like goal last video, so my offer still stands for this video. If we get this to 15 likes, I'll play the original Sonic and All-Stars Racing. But for now... Hello everyone, my name is William, and today I'm going to be giving my review of Team Sonic Racing. Team Sonic Racing is the indirect sequel to Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, and the third installment in the Sonic Racing franchise. Unlike the previous two games, Team Sonic Racing focuses on purely the Sonic the Hedgehog cast, rather than including Sega and even third-party characters such as Wreck-It Ralph or even the Team Fortress 2 mercenaries, as in Transformed. The twist is, this time around, although we do not have transforming cars, there is a huge focus on team-based racing, where you can give items to other players, and even boost off of other players on your team that are in the lead. Although I will say that the AI teammates that you have in the adventure mode are definitely not as good as real players, if not pretty stupid to be honest. But I will say that even if you're playing with the AI, it's still a great experience no matter what. Even as good as Transformed?
No! God! No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Personally, for me, nothing will get as close to Transformed as, well, Transformed. Personally, I do not think this game is as good as Transformed, but that doesn't mean it's not a good game. It's honestly pretty good as its own thing, and even if you actually have Transformed, I would say you should still try this. A big bulk of this game is taken in the Team Adventure mode. In Team Adventure, it's basically the career mode from Transformed, basically a single-player kind of event match type thing, except this time, instead of it just being, you know, just a bunch of random challenges and stuff, they actually decided to go all out and have fully voiced visual novel, written storyline, and honestly, it's not too bad. I mean, it's not too bad for something Sonic related, but I mean, it certainly exists. And to briefly explain it, quick spoiler warning, even though, you know, I don't actually think anyone cares about the lore of this game, I'm still going to include this because, you know, some people don't like to have their game spoiled. If you don't want to be spoiled, skip to the timestamp on your screen right now. Anyways, this is your only warning, even though I don't actually think anyone cares. Yeah, woo. So, this dude, Dodon Paw, or whatever the hell his name is, it basically invites the entire Sonic cast to a racing competition where whoever wins gets to keep the sports car that's been allocated. No one knows who this guy is at all. They just all get invited, I guess, and then, you know, they choose to join even though it sounds suspicious. They get even more suspicious when, you know, plot point, Dr. Eggman is invited. Things end up getting even worse when Silver starts to see terrible visions in his head. It probably doesn't matter. Whatever happens is probably not as bad as Sonic 06. Wait, Silver's in this game? Meanwhile, Vector, alongside Chaotix, are trying to dig up dirt on this Zidane Pa guy. So first off, he's a king. Secondly, and more importantly, he is the owner of a motor company responsible for making pretty much all of the cars in the galaxy. So everything's fine until he gets kidnapped.
Red 5 in base.
The only wasted roster slot in this game, Zavok. Seriously? Why Zavok over, like, any other Sonic villain character? Like, I mean, we've had Chaos. I would be willing to say that Infinite from Forces wouldn't be a bad pick either. Hell, like, if you don't need another villain character, why not just do, like, Chip? What I mean is that there are better characters than Zavok, and you could have really picked a better character here. But you had to go with Zavok of all characters. It makes no sense. Like, what am I doing here? Anyways, the reason Zavok kidnapped Zidane Pa was because Dr. Eggman wanted to get a hold of Zidane Pa's supposed ultimate energy engine or whatever. And this engine is supposedly powered purely by teamwork, and it supposedly is the strongest engine in the universe. Eggman wants to use it to power some horrible robot that he calls like his monster mech or whatever, but uh-oh, it doesn't have enough teamwork power, meaning Dr. Eggman has to exploit Sonic's want and lust to race by constantly causing him and his friends to work together to power this engine that he is supposedly going to use to destroy Sonic the Hedgehog. Long story short, the engine ends up working but malfunctions when the machine destroys the energy core of Dr. Eggman's airship instead of Sonic the Hedgehog. All of the heroes get free sports cars, and that's the end. Alright, so we have our Disney Channel sounding plot out of the way. Now let's talk about the actual game. Just like the previous games, there are 21 tracks, not including the mirrored tracks, and they ain't too bad. Although they're not that bad, I will say that a lot of them do use similar assets, and honestly, at times it can be a little hard to distinguish some of the tracks. I mean, other than obvious parts, but like, just from like first glance, you could probably tell that two tracks use the same pieces and bits. So it's very obvious that some tracks had more effort than others. Although there are some that I understand, like ports from previous games. For example, almost all of the Green Hill tracks were from the original two Sonic racing games. Same thing with the Casino Park areas. The only constant between all three of the games is the Roulette Road track from the Casino Park set, which we will get to later. I have a lot of things to say about it for one track, which is very strange. But seriously, a lot of the tracks do kind of blend in with each other, and it's kind of sad. Of course, most of the time it isn't as bad as the original Sonic and All-Stars Racing, where a lot of the tracks really did feel like the same or very similar tracks with little to no changes. And, like, I'm happy for that. In terms of the Mario Kart style power-ups, I gotta say that a lot of them are just kind of lackluster. They chose to base all of them off of the colors and stuff from Sonic Colors, the Wisps. Sorry, I'm improving this part. And I felt like they were just kind of generic in a way. Like, I mean, you've got your obvious projectiles in the form of the rocket and eagle. You've got your banana clone in the form of the cube. You've got a clone of the swarm from Transformed with the rock walls. And they're all just really, like, samey. It's not really in-depth. It's not special. Like, I feel like this is one of the main things that drags down the game overall. Oh yeah, and there's rings. I don't really understand what the rings actually do. Like, do they give like a speed boost like in Mario Kart 8 with the coins, or are they just there? I don't know, let's just move on to the next segment. You remember how I said that I was gonna bring up Roulette Road later as like a highlight? Yeah, I think that later has become now. If there is one thing that I love about this game, I love that its music will literally never get me out of the mood of wanting to just go at the speed of light and race. This track and this song that plays on this track, in my opinion, are some of the best that this game has to offer. I mean, compared to a lot of the other stuff in this game, this is probably one of the best tracks in all of the senses. I mean, it has windy turns, and it has beautiful lighting. All the colors feel different from the other Roulette Road variants from the other games, but it still feels so nice. I mean, I literally, once I got on this game just to play on this track. This is one of my favorite tracks in almost all of racing games. Like, you can get me to play this track on, like, any racing game. But this version especially, I would play, like, a whole game of just this track. Okay, that's a little excessive. But you get what I mean here. It's just so good, in my opinion. This is like I'm completely improving this part too. Like, this track, like, as I'm editing this, like, I am vibing to this. Like, all of it. Like, I feel the adrenaline that I have every time I play this track, just watching the footage as I do the voiceover. It has that feeling, you know? Trust me, not every track in this game gives the same feeling as this track. And it shows. This is one of the best tracks that this game has. I know I've said that a lot, but it's true. None of the other tracks in this game come close. Visually, in terms of its sound design, it's just, in my opinion, like this game's Rainbow Road, and I love that. Dang it! Did I run out of Sonic songs in my files? Ah, shoot. Let's see what's in here. Good song, good game. I use that song way too much in my videos. I already used that song in this video. God, am I really scraping the bottom of the barrel that much? You know, this last segment's gonna be between Transformed and this game, so why not use something from Transformed? Now, that begs a question. Which of the two games are better? Honestly, between Team Sonic Racing and Transformed, I personally have to hand it to Transformed, and not just for the nostalgia reasons or whatever. I do feel like Transformed is overall the better game. But after reviewing this, I feel like that overall is more barely overall. Yeah, Team Sonic Racing isn't as truly incredible as Transformed felt, and also it didn't really last that long for me. I mean, Transformed I'm still playing to this day because I still feel the urge to play it. And Team Sonic Racing I've only clocked in about 6 hours on. So it really does feel like that Team Sonic Racing is a little bit not as good as Transformed. But that doesn't make it a bad game. In fact, I think if you want to have a good experience, you shouldn't have too much of a problem choosing to play Team Sonic Racing over Transformed. In fact, honestly, I think they're pretty close as almost like similars in a way. They're almost parallels. The gimmicks of both games feel unique and interesting in their own rights. Both of them are incredible games, to be honest. And overall, I don't think there's really too much of an argument to say which is better and which is worse. I mean, I know I haven't given my opinion on the original, but I will definitely say that I think I like this more than the original Sonic and All-Stars Racing. By a mile. Miles. Miles upon miles. Light years. I believe that this game is really good. And I would suggest it to anyone who owns a more modern gen device, but still wants kind of a Transformed experience, but Transformed isn't supported on a lot of devices anymore. So, with that being said, I would like to rank this game 85% on my personal Cook score, which is kind of like what I'm doing with like Rotten Tomato type thing. Cool, woo. And I noticed I never did like any score or rating for Transformed. So real quick, I'm going to give Transformed a 92% on the Cook score. I'm calling it the Cook score because a furnace cooks and I'm the Furnace Knight. That's my YouTube username. Yeah, kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Remember, if we get to 15 likes, I will review the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing that was released in like 2000 and whatever. And that's it. See you later.